Hi, I'm Derek from Good Times Marine. Welcome to part 2 of the Seafarer Victory center console conversion. Last time I met with the captain's crew, we cut the head off this beautiful beast, and since then we've put it through the GT Max workshop and added some amazing great features. Stay with me and let's take a look at what we've done. Was there any major highs and lows? The low was finding that the original factory had drilled straight through the main stringer. That was a bit of a letdown. And knowing that we weren't able to fit 1 kilowatt transducers and having to deal with that problem, that was a low. The casting deck was a massive high. Like when we got into the boat, when we took that roof off, dead set, the amount of depth we had literally in the boat to work with was out of control. It was too many options to deal with. Pushing the deck back, because when we put the dry fit of the tower in, realising we're going to hit our head at the front, that really created some opportunities, and mate, I'm stoked with how the front deck came out. Once we realised how much room we had, we were like, okay, tow hold on the side and all the way around the front. So we brought that front section back a bit to give us a full tow hold all the way around. Yeah, it is a unique feature. You won't see that in any production boat, that's for sure. It's just too hard to get a plug to do it. Yeah, the padded gunnels, that was a bit of me just wanting a bit of luxury, that softness. And my kids and myself, we love sitting up in the bow when you're driving. It gets a bit harsh if you're punching through some swell and you've got bare fiberglass on the back, so that's really just there to soften it up. So this is the Roswell Uni T. It's really the main reason why this boat was built, and we've got the stamp of the logo for this model into the flooring as well. It's sort of what it's all about. So Uni T has a full weight assist system, which is what makes it unique. Allows you to be able to rotate this tower effortlessly. Just undo the knob, the whole thing rotates forward and it holds its own weight. So it makes it very, very easy to push it down and also to bring it up. Plus the T-top's got 2 hinge points here, which allows the whole thing to fold in on itself. So basically the highest point in this boat would really be the console. Clearance I'm not sure about because we haven't actually tested it. I've got a garage with really good clearance. We've got 2.6 at the door and it will go in there easily. I'm expecting around 2.5 metres. The helm seat idea came a little bit out of the 788, which is a bit of a pet love for me, that boat. Those seats are incredibly comfortable. We've got plenty of beam width here. There's normally armrests on the side. We got rid of the armrests and it's given us plenty of access through the side. And yeah, these are on slides, so you can pull them forward, sitting down like this if you want to cruise, and if you want to stand up and attack the ocean, it's bolsters up and seats back and away you go. The original boat had a nice esky on this side here, which works a treat. It's full of little tricks for later on. The other side's got a massive live well, fully plumbed in. So part of the build was to strip everything, all the wiring's out. This is all brand new pumps, brand new wiring. We've added a high pressure deck wash as well. So yeah, it's a fully set up bait station across the back of the boat, custom bait board as well. And then obviously the front of the boat, it's all set up for sports fishing. Yeah, the side pockets are actually a blend of old and new. So we've actually replaced all the timber work in the side pockets. We've actually integrated rod holder system in there as well. And we've actually got a support in under there which covers the rod holder extensions which support this amp box. The one thing we did keep is the original tread patterns which all seafarers have on a side pocket. You'll see they've got an aluminium strip which helps you to step out of the boat. We kept that from the original boat and that's been integrated back into this one. We've run with Premium Marine Flooring as the company we use to get our flooring installed. They use a product called Ultralon, which is a premium product, widely known all over the world. It's very, very, very nice underfoot. And the good thing about Todd from Premium Marine Flooring is he'll take the time to work with you to get it right. There's lots of colours to choose from. And you can see with our pattern in here, it's a very unique, full custom pattern. I think it's worked well, it looks good in the boat. So when it came to the engine swap out and after everything's done, the original boat we had maxed out on GPS at 70 kilometres an hour, which I thought was a pretty fair speed for a 6 metre boat effectively. We've now got the 225 Mercury on the back and we've got this clocked out at 92 Ks as you see it, rigged with the T-top and everything. When we had it stripped down, we got it to 97 Ks. We wanted to get to 100. We probably could have done it if we mucked around with the engine a bit more and a few other bits and pieces, but she was getting pretty flighty. Once you get them past 92, 93, it's sailing around a bit. It doesn't there's not much hull left in the water. So let's talk about fuel consumption though. This is pretty efficient. Around sitting just over the 3,000 RPM, we're doing 2 kilometres a litre. So for most people, that's a pretty awesome achievement for a boat of this much horsepower and this size. The old Johnson is still sitting at the shop. It's 1,500 bucks. It looks good, but probably needs a carby job, I would expect. Yeah, do you like the little way we start this puppy? Going back a couple of years ago, I went to the team and said, you know, we do this GT Max thing. I really want to be able to offer a way of doing the rocket launcher startup, press start, and Lamborghini style, I guess. And it took them a while to figure it out, but we've dialed out how to make it happen. And anyone can have it in their boat. 450 bucks. We'll put the rocket launcher style start stop in there, and I think it sets off the boat. It's a nice way to kick the boat off. The electronics is fun. I mean, I guess you just have to look at the dash and go 20 buttons, what the hell's going on there? It's only a 6-metre boat, but we've got a fair bit of lighting on board. The Simrad system is just insane. So we've got twin 1 kilowatt through hulls. We're running the high wide and then we're running a low. And we've also got the 3-in-1 transducer, which picks up our down scan and side scan imaging. So it's a pretty good setup when it comes to transducers and information being fed back to the screen. Autopilot's on board. Sometimes you get lazy when you're driving a long way and you just want to tell the boat to get there. That's what that's there for. We've got obviously the Roswell lighting up here. We've got the 4-light bar, and this has got a helm light that comes out of it as well. And this is all flexible. This was just a no-brainer for us. We've fitted them to other boats and they work unreal under this T-top. It just had to be a part of it. The speakers have got lighting. We've got under-gunnel lighting. We've got transom underwater lighting. Yeah, there's enough lights on this thing to light up a Christmas tree, that's for sure. The stereo system, well, I've loved my stereo and I don't mind a bit of house music, and I thought it might have been a bit over the top. The guys kept calling it Overkill. I call this boat the Project Victoria, so they're calling it Project Overkill, but the reality is it's 2,800 watts of RMS power, 10 speakers, 2 12-inch subs. They're 500 watts RMS each, and then I've got 4 8-inch speakers and 4 6.5-inch speakers. So designed for purpose, everything's housed. The only ones that didn't get housed are the back speakers here, purely because we physically couldn't do it. But the front speakers all have their own housings, and I think you'd agree it sounds pretty freaking cool. Yeah, so you like how we presented the amps? It's sort of, yeah, you can't not present something as beautiful as that and do a nice job of it. So they're just subtle, they're in the way, and if you didn't know that they were there, you probably would miss it. But at night time, there's a blue lights that come out, and it's just a nice touch, I think. The battery system's pretty cool. We've got, effectively got 4 batteries on board, but I'll give you a little quick rundown on it rather than going in depth. So we've got all lithium. High-tech batteries are one of our providers at the shop, and we sat down with those guys to work out what was going to be the best way to go. So we're running a Braille battery on as a crank battery. Now it's only 11 kilos. It's a tiny little thing, but it's 1350 cranking amps, cold cranking amps, 75 amp hours. But with lithium, you get 100% access to that power in the battery, whereas a standard lead acid or AGM battery, you're only getting around 50% access. So that's equivalent to 150 cranking amps, 150 amp hours in that Braille. I guess the thing to note about the cranking battery is some of the engine manufacturers now are actually giving no warranty to the outboard if you run a lithium battery. We've done some work with Mercury right through to the US factory to get permission to put this battery on board. Braille's been in Australia since 2012. It's in all the racing car circuits, it's in supercars since 2013. It's a fully qualified and widely tested battery to run as a cranking battery. Hopefully after Mercury get to see this boat and do some testing on it, they'll be able to give us a tick to run lithium as a crank battery. We've got twin 12-volt house batteries. They're basically a smart battery, the way they're integrated, so I can watch what's going on with that through my phone, through Bluetooth. And the motor guide's running a 24-volt system, single 24-volt battery. We went with that just because it fitted in the hole perfectly. It was the right dimensions. And we've got a gauge here which tells us exactly what's happening with that motor guide when we're using it. So that's a fully isolated system, the motor guide. It's not linked at all with this. We've got a DC to DC charger, which is a smart way of charging your lithium batteries. It's another thing with lithium is the outboards run a smart alternator. And if you don't have the right connections in place, you can do damage to the alternator because the alternator doesn't know when to stop and it just burns it out. The same thing, you can undercharge and overcharge the batteries if you're not running the right charger as well. So if you're going to play with lithium, make sure you use a supplier that knows what they're talking about. The switch panels are full custom made GT Max specials. We've got a supplier. We started off with stainless, it didn't look right. We went back to a full matte black panel and then got them all laser engraved and they look good. When it came to the weight of the boat, it was obviously a big part of what we talked about when we were doing the planning, because to take a half cabin with a light two-stroke on the back to then intentionally glass it up a lot more, a lot of extra weight. I mean, this thing's alone's about 60 kilos, bigger engine on the back. We had to make sure it was right. The original boat was quite a lightweight boat, even on the trailer. It was around 1.65 tonne. I mean, everyone talked about Victories being super heavy. That thing wasn't all that heavy. So by getting rid of the roof, we calculated the weight of the roof that we got rid of. By adding the engine, we calculated the weight of that. And then we moved from the outer ends all the way in, calculating where it was going to sit. And we just needed to make it balanced. So that's why the driving position's further back now. We wanted to compensate the extra weight we had in the casting deck. That casting deck's a lot heavier than what the original roof was. We're now sitting about 1.88 tonne without fuel. So it's certainly heavier. Balance-wise, in my opinion, I think we got it right. I mean, we're no engineers at the end of the day. We haven't got qualifications to do those sorts of calculations, but I think we got it right. It sits really balanced in the water. It turns beautifully. It launches off swell beautifully. We're not getting that prop torque, which we expected. It seems to be coming off straight. I don't think we've stuffed it up at all. I think what we've done is actually make this boat ride better. I think when you see it, we haven't had to see it running yet, but when you see it running, hopefully you'll see that it sits well in the water and it's got the right lift in the bow and everything's really well balanced. We did talk about Thermalite, but wood's easy to work with and wood's heavier and I wanted weight. I didn't want a lightweight boat. I want this boat to cut and penetrate and glide straight through. So I think when the topic came about Thermalite, I don't know, I've never personally used it, worked with it. We've done a few projects for customers with them, but not a lot. It was easy just to go stick with marine ply and away we go. It was just easy to work with. If you're a backyard builder and you're going to have a crack, I think you're going to love it. It's good fun. I think it's going to cost you a lot more money than you're budgeting for. I think you're going to find hurdles that might do your head in. Spend a lot of time on YouTube trying to find evidence of what other people have done, because there's no point reinventing the wheel. And if your project's grand, cut it back by about a third and start there before you get too carried away. Structure is the most important thing to assess. There's no point doing a project boat and missing out on structure. Like we were very careful to make sure that the strings were sound. We got that all tested. Flooring, everything was all done. I think if you're going to tackle it in your backyard and you don't have all the tools and you don't have the professional people to draw on, have a long hard thing about it, and it's worth getting advice from a professional first before you dive into it. But yeah, we took quite a long time to get the shear line right and get these lines right, and we're really glad we did. A lot of people were saying we should have got rid of this completely and just gone for the full flat gun all the way around. I didn't like it. I just didn't have any character that way. We ran pinstripe lines to try and get a hint of it. In the end, there was a pressing in the actual boat which gave us a good guideline, and we sort of worked a lot to that right up to about here, and then we just tapered it back. And I think the lines just look good. It all ties everything in together. I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, as they say. So I mean, you make your own decision there. But to me, I just look at it and I just love it. To be honest with you, I've been able to be in a lot of boats. It's my job, my industry. This boat's got me by the heart, really. It's a real, yeah, it means a lot, this boat.